T-minus 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go!
Ladies and gentlemen, and forces of nature. Welcome to the 23rd First Annual Ig Nobel Prize Ceremony. Professor Jean Berko Gleason will deliver the traditional Ig Nobel Welcome, Welcome speech.
Welcome. Welcome.
We are gathered here at Sanders Theater at Harvard University. I'm Karen Hopkin, creator of the Stud Muffins of Science calendar. Thank you. Please welcome our most special guests, the new Ig Nobel Prize winners. This year's winners, they represent 18 countries and 5 continents. And now, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, literati, glitterati, pseudo-intellectuals, quasi-pseudo-intellectuals, and the rest of you. May I introduce our Master of Ceremonies, the editor of the Annals of Improbable Research, Chief Airhead, Mark Abrams.
We are gathered here tonight to honor some remarkable individuals and groups. Every winner has done something that first makes people laugh, then makes them think. The Ig Nobel ceremony is produced by the science humor magazine, The Annals of Improbable Research, and proudly co-sponsored by the Harvard Radcliffe Society of Physics Students, the Harvard Radcliffe Science Fiction Association, and by the book, This is Improbable, ISBN 978-185-168-9316. The editors of the Annals of Improbable Research have chosen a theme for this year's ceremony. That theme is force. Tonight, 10 prizes will be given. The achievements speak for themselves all too eloquently. The prizes will be physically presented to the new winners by Nobel laureates. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Nobel laureates. A 2007 Nobel laureate in economics, Eric Maskin. 2004 Nobel laureate in physics, Frank Wilczek. 1986 Nobel laureate in chemistry, Dudley HERSCHBACH. 2005 Nobel laureate in physics, and a man who for more than a decade has humbly swept paper airplanes from our stage at this ceremony, Roy Glauber. Where is Professor Glauber's broom? If anyone here has Professor Glauber's broom, please bring it down. And a 1990 Nobel laureate in physics from MIT, Jerome Friedman. As usual, was prevented from joining us here tonight, but he appears now via the magic of video.
Congratulations. I hope you are enjoying this as much as I am.
Thank you, Professor Friedman. And now let us meet some of the other authority figures who are on stage. Our band, the Ig Leaves, the Human Spotlights, Jim Brett and Katrina Rosenberg. The Human Curtain Rods, Emily Coombs and Maria Elisiva. The official keepers of the mop, who will sweep detritus from the stage if the broom reappears, Julia Elisiva and Roy Glauber. Apparently we have no brooms whatsoever, but we'll do our best. Our referee, who will enforce certain time limits, may or may not be here. Is Mr. John Barrett here? We will have a substitute referee. For those worried about sex and violence, let me introduce our substitute referee and our V-chip monitor. He will attempt to block anything offensive from reaching your eyes, ears, or fingertips. Please welcome noted New York attorney William J. Maloney. Mr. Maloney, will you demonstrate your displeasure? Thank you. As you know, we used to have a problem at this ceremony. Many of the speakers would exceed their allotted time. Here's how we now solve that problem. Please welcome the charming, delightful, ever so cute Miss Sweetie Poo. Miss Sweetie Poo is 8 years old. Miss Sweetie Poo, will you please demonstrate what you will do when someone has exceeded his or her allotted time?
Please stop. I'm bored. Please stop. I'm bored. Please stop. I'm bored.
Thank you, Miss Sweetie Poo.
I'm bored. Please stop. I'm bored.
Thank you, Miss Sweetie
Please
Poo.
stop.
Miss Sweetie
I'm
Poo.
bored.
Thank you, Miss
Please
Sweetie.
stop.
Miss Sweetie Poo is
I'm
on.
bored.
Thank you, Miss
Please
Sweetie
stop.
Poo. There are other important people up here. You will meet them later. We'd like to give special thanks, especially for help in the webcast, to the Harvard Extension School, and also to CS50 and to Professor Henry Leitner. Thank you all for helping so much with the webcast. Also, a big hello to everyone watching the ceremony online around the world, especially to the Ig watching parties in Paris, France, Atlanta, Georgia, and Leiden, the Netherlands, and to everybody else. Welcome. Especially edited audio version of this ceremony will be broadcast on National Public Radio's Science Friday with Ira Flato on the day after Thanksgiving. What was that name? No. All right, now let's get it over with. Ladies and gentlemen, the awarding of the 2013 Ig Nobel Prizes. We're giving out 10 prizes. The winners come from many nations. This year's winners have truly earned their prizes. Karen, tell them what they've won.
Thank you, Cupcake. This year's winners each get an Ig Nobel Prize.
What else?
A piece of paper saying they've won an Ig Nobel Prize. It's signed by several Nobel laureates.
Do they get any money?
$10 trillion.
$10 trillion?
$10 trillion.
10 trillion US dollars?
Zimbabwean dollars. A Zimbabwean $10 trillion bill.
How nice. Thank you, Karen. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the coveted Ig Nobel Prize. This year's prize is a hammer sealed inside a transparent glass box with a sign on the outside that says, "In case of emergency, use hammer to break glass." And now the prizes. The Medicine Prize. The Ig Nobel Prize in Medicine is awarded to Masatiro Uchiyama, Xiangyuan Jin, Qi Zhang, Toshihito Hire, Atsushi Amano, Hisashi Bashuda, and Masanori Niimi of Japan, China, and the UK for assessing the effect of listening to opera on heart transplant patients who are mice. Please welcome. Please welcome Masaturo Uchiyama, Xiangyuan Jin, and Masanori Niimi.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Tonight is a great honor for us and for all the persons who are interested in brain and immune system. Using mouse heart transplantation model into the abdomen, we did show the force of music. A famous opera, La Traviata, generated regulatory cells and prolonged graft survival. We say, we hope, and we believe these, our improbable results, are immediately used for clinical and our life and make people laugh and then think. Brain can control immune system. I have to say, thank you to my wife, Tomoe, my daughter, Hazusa, to my parents. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you.
You can collect your $10 trillion bill from the Nobel laureates over there. The Psychology Prize. The Ig Nobel Prize for Psychology is awarded to Laurent Bégu, Brad Bushman, Ulman Zerhouni, Baptiste Subra, and Mehdi Ouraba of France, the Netherlands, Poland, and the USA for confirming by experiment that people who think they are drunk also think they are attractive. Please welcome Brad Bushman, Laurent Bégu, and Mehdi Ouraba.
In dedication to Vincent Fumet, with whom I shared my best beers. We hypothesized in the study one that we would find a correlation. Sorry, I take my plug. I forgot this. It's very important technically. We hypothesized in field study one that we would find a correlation between perceptions of one's attraction and people's intoxication. Results show that in coffees and bars, drunk people feel more appealing. Something links what self-perceptions are, and etilometric measuring. The next step was to investigate through a method more accurate. We experimented more scholarly to know why those guys feel less ugly. This is the results of the whole story. When good guy feels they are sexy, it's just placebo, very expectancy. Such a belief is a fancy.
I'm bored. Please stop. I'm bored. Please stop. I'm bored. Please stop.
No one's born here, isn't it?
Please stop. I'm bored. Please stop.
You can collect your $10 trillion bill from the Nobel laureates over there. Now, please give your attention to Nobel laureate Eric Maskin.
Please join us in a moment of science.
In the audience tonight, there are many official delegations that have come from far and near. Karen Hopkin will direct our attention to some of them.
Thank you, Pumpkin. When I introduce each delegation, it will make its presence known by standing up and twirling in place 3 times counterclockwise. Please greet these people with all the respect they deserve. The Harvard-Radcliffe Science Fiction Association, the Procrastination Platoon, Museum of Bad Art, celebrating art too bad to be ignored, Game of Forks. Game of Forks. Dinner is coming. May the forks be with you. Mensa, the organization for people with abnormal scores on certain standardized psychological tests. And 4 fundamental forces of physics from Florence, Mass.
Now, here's a musical treat, the world premiere of a new mini opera called The Blonsky Device. There are 4 acts, 1 now, 2 later, and 1 after that. Here's our narrator, Karen Hopkin.
Thank you, sweet cheeks. This is the story of a married couple named George and Charlotte Blonsky. The Blonskys invented a machine. They called it an apparatus for facilitating the birth of a child by centrifugal force. In the year 1965, the Patent Office granted them a patent, patent number 1126423. In the year 1999, George and Charlotte were posthumously awarded an Ig Nobel Prize for their invention. This is the story, with a few extra touches, we admit, of how the Blonskys got their idea and how they might have used the machine. It all began with a visit to the zoo.
What shall we do? Let's go to the zoo. The zoo. Let's go to the zoo today. Let's go to the zoo today. The elephants, the elephants, the elephants. Let's go see them. Let's go. Let's go to the zoo today. Let's study the elephants. Let's see the wonders of nature, the science, the changes. Let's go see the pachyderm. Oh, that's such a tacky term. No, right over here. No, right over there. Turning me all around. You're making me gasp and blink. Rotation might make you think. Spinning while dancing might make you think quite entrancing. What will wondering people like to spin? People think spinning is a sin. They don't understand how useful on everyday actions can be. Hey, elephants, they have sense. Elephants, maybe we would be nice to study the elephants. That elephant over there, the one that's spinning round and round and round. That elephant over there is quite confounding, quite confounding. Oh, people here, you can ask me any questions. Both I will cheerfully answer all your questions. Please tell us why that elephant is spinning. She is pregnant, beginning to give birth. An elephant's giving birth? That's right. Well, that would explain her girth. That's right. Peculiar, how uncommon, what exactly is the phenomenon? Rotation at constant speed. That's right. Rotation at constant speed. That's right. Those rotations have an atomical interesting implication. Pregnant elephants typically spin around. Yes, pregnant elephants. Yes, they go round and round. Does that force make one feel kind of quivering? The force we think is with delivery for the baby elephant. Horse, of course, is relevant. Horse is not irrelevant for a baby elephant. Of course you need that horse. If you're an elephant needs horse. And so do we, and so do we, and so do we. So wisdom of elephants, the wisdom of elephants, mortality goes to vicious and inflicting in our vaginal yes. The wisdom of elephants, the wisdom of elephants, vaginal centrifugal force, centrifugal force, centrifugal force, we could build a machine. A big machine. How will biddies have kids? A big one, but no one will be. A machine. We'll build a machine. Machine.
The Biology and Astronomy Prize. The Ig Nobel Prize, awarded jointly in biology and astronomy, is awarded to Marie Dack, Emily Baird, Marcus Byrne, Clark Schultz, and Eric Warrant of Sweden, South Africa, Germany, Australia, and the UK for discovering that when dung beetles get lost, they can navigate their way home by looking at the Milky Way. Please welcome Marie Dack, Emily Baird, Marcus Byrne, and Eric Warrant.
Some people think science is crap. Some people think even our science is crap. But this crap, in this case, is a vehicle to discovery.
Dung beetles roll balls of poo.
Hello!
We explore how a sky compass works by watching dung beetles roll balls of poo. And ask how.
How? We ask everyone to raise their eyes from a dung pat to the sky. Here, a lonely nocturnal wanderer finds guidance. Seen through the eyes of beetles, the African moon and the stars leads the way to their success.
Success!
Hats on beetles and planetarium shows tell us how all creatures, great and small, avoid getting lost in the dark. The clever compass uses the stars, the bright stripe of light in the Milky Way. Milk!
South African dung beetles teach us that to do good science, you've got to have balls!
You can collect your $10 trillion from the Nobel laureates here. And now we have a demonstration. I'm afraid the V-chip monitor has called off the demonstration. The Safety Engineering Prize. The Ig Nobel Prize for Safety Engineering is awarded to the late Gastano Pizzo of the USA for inventing an electro-mechanical system to trap airplane hijackers. The system drops a hijacker through trap doors, seals him into a package, then drops the encapsulated hijacker through the airplane's specially installed bomb bay doors, whence he parachutes to Earth, where police, having been alerted by radio, await his arrival. The winner's brother and sister had planned to be with us tonight, but unfortunately are not able to travel. One past winner of the Ig Nobel Prize has come back to take a bow and to help us honor the new winners. Please welcome the co-winner of the 2009 Ig Nobel Physics Prize, which was given for analytically determining why pregnant women don't tip over. Welcome Dan Lieberman. In preparation for Act 2 of our opera about the Blonsky birthing device, Professor Lieberman will give a 1-minute lecture entitled The Biomechanical Forces Involved in Human Childbirth. Here is Professor Lieberman.
Why is human childbirth so difficult? Why can't mothers just exert enough force to expel the baby easily? The evolutionary explanation is that in upright moms who aren't quadrupeds, the gravitational force of the fetus is counteracted by the floor of the pelvis, which is filled with vital sphincters, which you're all using right now. And so pregnant moms need especially strong pelvic floors. Next. Second, human newborns have enormous brains, and as you can see from these numbers, it's a very tight fit. Next. Finally, humans evolved extremely wide hips to locomote efficiently, so big-brained babies have to enter the pelvis sideways and then turn a ridiculous 90 degrees inside the pelvis. Next. And so the way in which we solve this problem is having intermittent gradual forces. During stage 1 of labor, a mother produces about 8.5 kilopascals of pressure on the fetus's head, and then intermittently about once every 3 minutes. And then during the second stage of labor, those forces rise to about 20 kilopascals on the fetus's head. And if those forces aren't gradual and intermittent, the mom and the baby are in trouble. So, if any of you are expecting, may the force be with you, not the forceps.
Thank you, Professor Lieberman. It's time for Act 2. It's time for Act 2 of the mini-opera, The Blonsky Device. Here is our narrator, Karen Hopkin.
Thank you, Whoopie Pie. A year has passed since the Blonskys got their brilliant idea. It's been a busy year. Charlotte is pregnant. Any day now, she will give birth to their first child. And George and Charlotte have built the first working Blonsky birthing device. Their baby will be the first, the very first, to benefit from this emerging technology. Today, George and Charlotte are at the patent office. They're trying to get a patent for their invention, but the patent examiner is, well, a bit confused. Let's see how George and Charlotte deal with that.
The patent office.
The patent office. The patent office.
inventor's name is Blonsky. Blonsky, is it not? Quite right, the name should not be Blonsky. The name should be Blonsky. Details are essential to my work. Errors make some people go berserk. Error.
A tiny error can undo.
Error.
A patent, why it is brand new. Just one error uncorrected might force them to reject
it. Now will you please explain your stuff? I tried to read it, but it wasn't clear enough, not clear enough.
It helps a woman birth a child.
That's rather wild.
You put her on a table that is motorized.
And goodly sized.
A woman lies down on her back.
She's on a rack.
And then you rotate her at 60 RPM.
I must condemn.
And so the child comes flying out. It's quick and fun.
I think we're done.
It's very simple. It's a simple apparatus for delivery of babies with a turntable that spins the mother and ejects the child.
Never so
No
clever.
safety, no danger, no safety, no danger. Many safeguards, yes. With ballast water boxes, with ballast water boxes, will not precise rotation will cause cessation of the gestation. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. It will.
Round and lost and sound and up and sound and for confounded baby. Round and round and up and sound and confounded,
But even still,
but still, so full of fear,
so full of fear, a mother is so full of fear.
Here I must reject, I must reject, I must reject, must reject, I must reject, I must reject, I must reject.
Oh please, oh please, oh please, oh please, oh please. My head is spinning. Is it beginning? I think my baby is popping out today.
Hey, don't worry, Mrs.
Don't worry about the pattern. I just let's move.
The Physics Prize. The Ig Nobel Prize for Physics is awarded to Alberto Minetti, Yuri Ivanenko, Germana Cappellini, Nadia Dominici, and Francesco Lacquaniti of Italy, the UK, Switzerland, Russia, and France for discovering that some people would be physically capable of running across the surface of a pond if those people and that pond were on the moon. Please welcome Alberto Minetti and Yuri Ivanenko.
Have you ever had dreams about swimming like fishes, flying as birds, hovering in the 3D space? Well, today we report that even unconceivable gates and unconceivable feats as running on the surface of a small pond, which only some lizards and birds are able to do, is also possible for humans. The only problem is that those humans and the pond need to be on another planet.
By using a suspension system and fins, we found that the level of gravity below which running on water is feasible. We ran a contest within the solar system for the most suitable planet, and the winner is...
The envelope is yours. Oh, thank you. The moon.
Actually, our study opens exobiology about the potential gates extraterrestrials adopt in the universe.
I'm bored.
Oh.
Please talk.
Yes, we are currently working on human flapping flights. Keep in touch with us if you're interested.
Please
Thank you.
You can collect your $10 trillion from the Nobel laureates over there. Earlier, we recognized several of the official delegations that are here in the audience tonight. Now, to direct our attention to the other admirable delegations, here is Karen Hopkin.
Thank you, Boo Boo. When I introduce each delegation, it will make its presence known by standing up and twirling in place 3 times counterclockwise. Please greet these people with all the respect they deserve. The lawyers for and against force. Slide Rule Preservation Society, the Irregular Chitikins, Harvard Summer Undergraduate Research Farm, the Foxy Forces of Nature, Dr. Epoxy and the Composites, the Kennedy School of Government Force of Conviction, and BBN Technologies.
Now get set for something special, the 24/7 lectures. We have invited several of the world's top thinkers to tell us very briefly what they are thinking about. Each 24/7 lecturer will explain her or his subject twice. First, a complete technical description in 24 seconds. And then, after a brief pause, a clear summary that anyone can understand in 7 words. The 24-second time limit will be enforced by our VCHIP monitor, Mr. William Maloney. Mr. Maloney, do you have any advice for our 24/7 lecturers?
Keep it clean, gentlemen.
Okay. The first 24/7 lecture will be delivered by Dudley HERSCHBACH, Professor Emeritus of Chemistry at Harvard University, winner of the 1986 Nobel Prize in Chemistry. His topic, torque. First, a complete technical description of the subject in 24 seconds. On your mark, get set, go.
Torque is a force proportional to the rate of change of angular momentum with time. Applied to any object, torque will accelerate or decelerate its rotation. The extent of the acceleration is inversely proportional to the moment of inertia of the object. Among myriad applications are gyrations of ballet dancers, launching of boomerangs, and birthing of elephants.
And now a clear summary that anyone can understand in 7 words. On your mark, get set, go.
To start or stop spinning, apply torque.
The second 24/7 lecture will be delivered by Xiao-Li Meng, the Dean of Harvard's Graduate School of Arts and Sciences, and Whipple V.N. Jones Professor of Statistics at Harvard. His topic, statistics. First, a complete technical description of the subject in 24 seconds. On your mark, get set, go.
Z-test, T-test, chi-square test. I can help you to face any test. Bayes frequency fiducial. Let me make you feel free inferential. Regression, correlation, causation. What else can generate more passion? Skewness, kurtosis, and heteroscedasticity. Boy, do I feel sexy.
And now, a clear summary that anyone can understand in 7 words. On your mark, get set, go.
The only crystal ball approved by God.
The final 24/7 lecture will be delivered by Melissa Franklin, an experimental particle physicist, the first female tenured faculty member in the Harvard Department of Physics. She studies particle interactions and symmetries. Her topic, force. First, a complete technical description of the subject in 24 seconds. On your mark, get set, go.
Force keeps me down, spins me round, keeps my atoms bound, keeps my motion brown. Makes my coffee drip, makes my muscles rip. My protons flip, my DNA zip and unzip. It makes my cells divide, my brain decide, my microtubules grow and subside. Force makes things go and not go, and or go and not go.
Please welcome, he's ridden to the rescue, our referee, Mr. John Barrett. And now, a clear summary of that lecture that anyone can understand in 7 words. On your mark.
No.
On your mark.
That's not
on your mark. On your mark. Get set. Go.
Equal. Opposite. Attractive. Repulsive. Bang. Ding. Crash. Ow!
The Chemistry Prize. The Ig Nobel Prize in Chemistry is awarded to Shinsuke Imai, Nobuaki Tsuge, Muniaki Tomotake, Yoshiaki Nagatome, Toshiyuki Nagata, and Hidehiko Kumgai of Japan and Germany for discovering that the biochemical process by which onions make people cry is even more complicated than scientists had previously realized. Please welcome the entire team.
This is an onion. Onion can force you to cry. First, I want to say thank all the people who have forced to cry by onion. Here. and I, of course, I also thank all the onions eaten by humans. You all did a good job. Many researchers have tried to explain how onion make you cry. Unfortunately, but fortunately for us, they overlooked the most important enzyme in tear-inducing effect. Our team found new enzyme that make you cry. Our discovery opened the door to the development of healthful and tearless onion. In other words, Ig Nobel onion. Which do you like? Tearful onion or tearless? Ig Nobel onion. Thank you.
You can collect your $10 trillion over there with the Nobel laureates. Now, we have a demonstration. Thank you. The Archaeology Prize. The Ig Nobel Prize in Archaeology is awarded to Brian Crandall and Peter Stahl of Canada and the USA for parboiling a dead shrew and then swallowing the shrew without chewing, and then carefully examining everything excreted during subsequent days, all so they could see which bones would dissolve inside the human digestive system and which bones would not. Please welcome Brian Crandall.
We are duplicating the study, and we will be recruiting volunteers outside. We're moving bigger now. I actually did this research when I was an undergraduate 20 years ago, so I'm glad finally some recognition came, but this reflects my approach to science, which is to not force it, embrace the mystery of it, pursue it with passion, and just have fun. My current job is outside of the university setting. I actually teach science to kids. I get hired to travel to schools and spark an interest in science in children while they're young, before they get too old to lose the interest in it. Thank you. So, just a couple of quick thank yous. Peter Stahl, my co-author on this paper, I want to thank you for your enthusiastic support of this crazy, crazy idea. I'd like to also thank Kurt Pischel of the Binghamton University Biology Department, who let an undergraduate have access to the scanning electron microscope. And also the other faculty at the Binghamton University Anthropology Department who such as Ann Stahl and Randy McGuire, who shared their passion and excitement for what they do. Thank you.
Please talk. I'm bored.
You can collect your $10 trillion from the Nobel laureates over there. We have a demonstration. Chip monitor has called off the demonstration. And now,
our second paper airplane throwing period is about to commence. It will be 30 seconds in duration. Please get your paper airplanes ready. Also, safety first. Please remember to aim only at the target, the human aerodrome, which will be on the stage. Could the minor domos please bring the human aerodrome to the stage? Okay, we'll have a countdown, so get your airplanes ready. T-minus 7, T-minus 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go!
we have a request. Calm yourselves, please. We ask you, the members of the audience, to please hold your applause for this next prize. Please hold your applause for this next prize. The Peace Prize. The Ig Nobel Peace Prize this year is awarded to Alexander Lukashenko, the president of Belarus, for making it illegal to applaud in public, and to the Belarus State Police for arresting a one-armed man for applauding. The winners could not or would not be with us tonight. Thank you. Thank you. Now, please give your attention to Nobel laureate Frank Wilczek.
Please join us in a moment of science.
It's time for the Win a Date with a Nobel Laureate contest. Here's Karen Hopkin to tell us about our laureate.
Thank you, Snugglebug. He's big and he's manly and he likes a clean floor. Tonight's Win-A-Date prize is all that and more. Professor Roy Glauber won the 2005 Nobel Prize in Physics for his penetrating insights into the interactions between light and matter. A connoisseur of all things optical, Roy built his first telescope at the age of 12. Some of his best friends are constellations, but for one night, you can be the center of his universe. Let's give a warm Win-A-Date welcome to Roy Glauber.
Now let's see which lucky audience member will win a date with this Nobel laureate. When you entered the hall, the ushers handed you an attractive printed program. Pick it up and look through it. If your program is the one that contains a photograph of Thomas Hunt Morgan wielding a fly swatter, then you have won a date with this Nobel laureate. If that's you, come on up and claim your prize. It's time for Act 3 of the mini-opera, The Blonsky Device. Here is our narrator, Karen Hopkin.
Thank you, honey bun. The hour is approaching when Charlotte will give birth to the Blonsky's first child, the first child anywhere, ever, to enter the world propelled by centrifugal force. Now, at the last minute, George and Charlotte are having a debate. George is full of doubts. Charlotte's confident and mostly unafraid. Charlotte reminds him, diplomatically and happily, that it is she, not he, who will soon be strapped onto the machine and rotated at high speed so she can give birth to a bouncing baby.
left behind. Who wants to know child will be left behind?
No child will
So no child will be
left
behind. What have we to fear?
Not to fear, not my dear.
I'm an engineer. Yes, I'm a joy. I will apply some torque. It hastens the child's nations much quicker than even a stork can. People tell me what the force of a sentence is. Just I think they need to update the confusion. They talk of physics, what's they are get tactical. I am an engineer, my force of practical. This
I'd have to get a divorce. Separation anxiety, shouldn't there be some chagrin?
Separation anxiety, no, let's begin.
What say we go for a spin? What say we go for a spin?
What say we go for a spin, babe, spin?
The Probability Prize. The Ig Nobel Prize for Probability is awarded to Bert Tolkamp, Marie Haskell, Fritha Langford, David Roberts, and Colin Morgan of the UK, the Netherlands, and Canada for making two related discoveries. First, that the longer a cow has been lying down, the more likely that cow will soon stand up. And second, that once a cow stands up, you cannot easily predict how soon that cow will lie down again. Please welcome Bert Tolkamp.
That would be a good opening if I immediately destroyed the prize. Ladies and gentlemen, I've been studying cows for most of my career, and therefore I can speak with some authority when I tell you that cows can be really boring. It's cows, you hear, that can be really boring. So when you research cows, the best you can do is to come up with the title of a paper that at least sounds interesting and attracts the attention of Mark Abrams. Although I must admit that the behavior of the cows in our experiment was really, really disappointing. We all expected that these cows would be more motivated to lie down the longer they had been standing. But these cows just kept hanging around, and they never did what we expected of them. Although, in a sense, that makes it quite interesting.
Please stop. I'm bored. Please stop.
So,
I'm bored.
novel
Please
ideas
stop.
come up from counterintuitive results.
stop.
Thank you.
You can collect your $10 trillion from the Nobel laureates there. The final prize, the Public Health Prize. The Ig Nobel Prize in Public Health is awarded to Kasian Banganada, Tu Chayavatana, Chumporn Pongnamkul, Ananton Makayakul, Piaskol Sokasatayadorn, Krit Komaratal, and Henry Wild of Thailand for the medical techniques described in their report, Surgical Management of an Epidemic of Penile Amputations in Siam, techniques which they recommend, except in cases where the amputated penis has been partially eaten by a duck. The winners could not travel to the ceremony. They sent an acceptance speech. Their acceptance speech will now be read on their behalf by Nobel laureate Eric Maskin.
Dr. Kasian Bangananda, the lead author of the study Surgical Management of an Epidemic of Penile Amputations in Siam, sends this acceptance speech. Dr. Kasian asked us to read this speech aloud here at the Ig Nobel ceremony on behalf of him and his entire team. The team is based at Siraraj Hospital in Mahidol University in Bangkok, Thailand. Here is Dr. Kasian's speech. Quote, "It's an unexpected award." Unquote.
We do not have a demonstration. Before we finish up with the triumphal handshaking of the winners and then the stirring grand finale of the opera, we remind you to join us this Saturday afternoon at MIT. The new winners will give free public talks to explain, if they can, what they did and why they did it. That's Saturday, 1 p.m., MIT, Building 26, Room 100, and it's free. Now, before we finish up the evening with the conclusion to the opera, it's time for the triumphal handshaking. All the new Ig Nobel Prize winners will now emerge, one by one, through the sacred curtain, there to receive a token handshake from Nobel laureate Dudley HERSCHBACH. Yes, it's time for the thrilling conclusion of the mini-opera, The Blonsky Device. Here is our narrator, Karen Hopkin.
Thanks, my little hot pocket. It's time. It's time for Charlotte to become the first person to give birth using the Blonsky device to apply centrifugal force. Thank you. Their new friends, the zookeeper and the patent examiner, are here helping them. All their other friends, and many of the world's great scientists, doctors, and engineers, have gathered to be part of this historic occasion. Around the world, people are watching on live television. Now let's join George and Charlotte Blonsky for the thrilling conclusion to our opera.
It's about time, my dear. It's about time, my dear. After many, 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 many months, I'm very, 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 very ready for a change.
Round about time, my dear.
Round about time, my dear.
After
months, ready for a change.
Waiting and waiting and waiting uncomfortably.
Waiting and waiting and waiting uncomfortably. Anxious and eager and knowing between the electric and blowing and knowing
Such a delightful machine. Far from routine, kind of a trampoline. Such a hygienic machine, such a hygienic machine. So very clean, seemingly so pristine. We better check each detail, we better check each detail. Any detail, could fail. We better check each detail, we better check each detail. Any detail could fail. Got to examine it, look at it, see.
Carefully look at it.
Got to examine it, look at it, see.
Carefully look at it.
Got to examine it, look at it.
Look at it, carefully look at it.
Got to examine it, look at it.
Got to examine it, look at it. Carefully look at the anti-friction bearing on the motor shaft.
Carefully look at the water ballast level gauges one and aft. Carefully look at the timing mechanism and the chronograph. Listen in the log, take a look at both the safety net and the look. Look at the bolts and the holes in the base plate. Check the alignment, make sure they are tightened enough. Look at the factors affecting the spin rate. That's your assignment, because the right steady, not rough. Check that the bodily orientation's okay. Each of the mother is strapped into face the right way. Check the direction the mother will lie in the bed. Having her backwards is something I dread. Where are the feet? Where is the head? Maybe we should go slow. There's something I should know. Nothing. Everything is fine. Everything's settled. Oh, what is it I should know? Nothing. Everything's fine. Well, you see, there is one thing we are wondering about.
Tell me, cause I need to know what it's about. Anxious and eager and knowing between I am going with staring at tell me, not to me, but the machine.
Such a delightful machine. Such a delightful machine.
Get to the point. You tell me what you mean.
That tiny net that we've seen, that is far from routine. That little net, it is the strangest part of the machine.
Baby gets caught by that net. Baby gets caught by that net.
Look at that net, maybe hasn't wet yet.
Baby relies on that net. Baby relies on that net. That net is frail, that net will fail, that net is strong, that net will fail.
Somebody's starting to spin the machine.
Suddenly,
whirling and
faster and faster, no.
Oh my gosh, now the machine accelerating for the twist of fate. Oh my gosh, now my dear emotions are spinning in a jumbled picture. Keep her rotating, she will keep us waiting. Look, here comes the baby, and I only maybe. Look, here comes the baby, and I only maybe.
Miles Rind. Philip Lima. Martin Kelly. Maria Ferrante. Dr. Thomas Michel and the All-Star Biomedical Orchestra, the Forces of Nature. And our opera director, Maestro Henry Acona. Ladies and gentlemen, if you will look up at the screen, here is a photograph of the actual inventors of the Blonsky device, the actual Charlotte and George Blonsky. Now, Professor Jean Berko Gleason will give the traditional Ig Nobel Goodbye, Goodbye speech.
Goodbye. Goodbye.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, let us honor all the many people who put this ceremony together. They're back there, they're over there, back here, over here. There are a lot of them, please. Would all of the Ig Nobel Prize winners and the Nobel laureates and the 24/7 lecturers and the opera performers now please gather at the front of the stage for a pointless photo opportunity? Please whack your hands together, shower them with self-esteem. Now, on behalf of the Harvard-Radcliffe Society of Physics students and the Harvard-Radcliffe Science Fiction Association, especially from all of us at the Annals of Improbable Research, please remember this final thought. If you didn't win an Ig Nobel Prize tonight, and especially if you did, better luck next year. Good night.